Hey, beautiful mama, welcome back. If you're a single mom who's feeling overwhelmed, stretched thin, this episode is for you. First off, I want to tell you that you are doing an incredible job. I know it might not feel like it. I know the house might be messy, the calendar might be full, you might just feel so emotionally stretched thin right now, but I promise you that you are doing an incredible job. This path of single motherhood is not an easy one, and I commend you for choosing it. However you landed here, I believe your souls chose to be on this path, and I want to share a few things in today's episode that have really helped me stop feeling overwhelmed as a single mother and really stepping into this relaxed feminine flow energy that we get to be in as women. So the first thing I want to share is about setting realistic goals or expectations for yourself that actually support you. This is not about adding more to your to-do list. Oftentimes our exhaustion comes from doing too much and putting way higher expectations on ourselves than anyone else realistically would. We do not need the color-coded calendar. We do not need to have the perfect home. We do not need to have a solid plan figured out even. We just need clarity around what matters. We need to focus on what we must do, drop everything that we feel like we should be doing, and focus on what makes you feel lighter. So the way to structure the to-do list that I have found is only put your must-dos down for the day and be very, very strict with yourself on what is actually a must-do versus this would be nice to do. So don't make this list overwhelming. 3 to 5 tasks a day at most. When you knock these off your list, this is going to be your priority. When you knock these off your list, you automatically are successful that day. You can add other things if you want as your nice to-dos, but be very, very strict and clear with yourself on the must-dos. This will create a success momentum. You'll feel like you're banging it out of the park if you can bang out the 3 things each and every day that you must do and stick to that. This is a game changer. Set yourself up for success in how you structure your day and your time and your to-do list. And then also ask yourself what would make yourself feel lighter in the day. What would help you to maintain patience and calm? What can you do to fill your cup in the day? Add those in. Those are must-dos. Those are not luxuries. Those are must-dos. So something like maybe having 10 minutes to yourself, maybe doing a 2-minute meditation, maybe turning on a song and dance, or doing 5 squats while you wait for your coffee to brew. Pick something that fills your cup. Take care of yourself first, because then you'll be able to take care of everybody else. So make sure you're clear on your goals, your day-to-day goals, and where you're going in the day, and don't worry about everything else. Which leads me to my next point, which is creating great boundaries that give you back your energy. So often we are giving to other people. We have maybe a people-pleasing, personality. We are overgiving. We're saying yes to our kids when really we're just like, I'm so freaking exhausted right now. I cannot function. So start protecting your time and your mental, emotional energy like it is sacred, because it absolutely is. You have to take care of yourself first, which I know is tricky, but this is like, you cannot support everybody else if you are depleted. So that might mean saying no to plans. That might mean saying no to friends and family. That might mean carving out some time for yourself so you can just have some quiet downtime all to yourself. That might mean saying no to your kids. No, I'm not going to take you to that play date. I'm not going to sign you up for soccer for next session because I need that time. So it's uncomfortable, but this is about protecting your home and you and your kingdom, this beautiful life that you're creating, so you can say yes to the things that really matter. And no, we can just leave the rest. Like, say no to things that really aren't serving you. Say no to the things that are depleting you, even if it means disappointing others. And if you struggle with setting boundaries, you are absolutely not alone. When you sign up for my Conscious Co-Parenting course, the bonus right now is actually a course called The Easy Way to Set Boundaries. And it goes through in detail how to set boundaries from that strong feminine energy, not with force, to really truly protect your time, because boundaries are about self-worth, they're about self-care, and it's about modeling for our kids how to show ourselves self-respect, and it's something that we want to master. So definitely take advantage of that bonus while it's still on. Grab the Conscious Care Co-Parenting course and get that bonus right now. The next point I want to make is to make self-care non-negotiable. And we kind of just touched on this on boundaries, but this is extremely important. I can tell you, as someone who has done single momming in Bali by herself for 3 months, 6 months at a time, I can tell you, like, I have had no help. And the single most important thing I did to maintain my relationship with my kids was to take care of myself first. So that meant working out each day, meditating, getting in the pool because I love water. These are not luxuries. These are necessities, because when you take care of yourself, your whole nervous system relaxes and you're better able to support your kids. You'll have more patience. You are just a better human being all around, and you will be a better mother because of it. And if you're not taking care of yourself, you're more likely to yell at your kids, you're more likely to have disagreements, you're more likely to have zero patience for their shenanigans, and you'll be grumpy and irritable, and life will feel really, really hard. That's not fun. So what can you do each and every day to take care of yourself? It doesn't have to be big. Honestly, when I started meditating as a parent, it was 2 minutes. Set the timer for 2 minutes. Now it's longer. But just start to build that success habit. Have you ever heard, if you want to start flossing your teeth, commit to flossing 1 tooth a night? Because chances are you're going to start and realize that, I can just keep going. But the idea of flossing your teeth might feel like a lot. Flossing 1 tooth, I'm like, oh, you can just bang that out. Check. If you did 1 tooth, amazing. If you do the whole mouth, even awesomer. So start small. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, but this is a necessity. This is not a luxury. This is absolutely essential if you want to be a good human and a good mom. And the fourth point I want to make is that I want you to entertain the idea that this can be easy. And I know this sounds crazy, especially if you're deep in the chaos right now. But part of what feels so heavy is this belief that perhaps it's this belief that life needs to be hard, or life is hard. And this is kind of like a chicken or egg thing, because if life feels hard right now, it probably is hard. And then you're looking around seeing evidence of all the reasons it's hard, because you're like, why isn't someone giving me a break right now? Why can't anyone cut me some slack? And then you're just in this cycle of just you're proving that life is hard. But I want you to just try this on. What if it were easy? What if it were easy? I want you to just sit with this possibility for a bit, because I can tell you from where I am sitting that it can be easy, or can be easier. Every single time I ask myself this question, whether it's related to business, my kids, flying and traveling, co-parenting, what if it were easy? My life starts to shift. Magic starts to happen. And from a brain perspective, what you're doing is you're training your brain to search for evidence that this can be easy. You might start seeing it in other people. You might start to see a shift in your own life. Someone might drop in to help you. Your brain will start to notice. It's kind of like the red car. If you're going to buy a red car, you're thinking about buying a red car, you start seeing red cars. This is the same thing. What if it were easy? You'll start seeing evidence that things can be easy. And from a manifestation perspective, law of attraction perspective, when you ask this question, it releases the resistance. And you know that to manifest anything in your life, you have to have the burning desire for it, but you also have to let go of resistance, because essentially what the resistance is you're like, I really want this, but I'm so focused on the opposite, the lack of that this is my point of attraction. So if we can let go of that by asking ourselves a simple question, what if it were easy? It helps us manifest that into reality. And like I said, people will drop in to help. Solutions will present themselves that weren't even on your radar before. So I'm telling you, big shifts can happen simply by answering or asking this question. So try it. Try it. It's simply playing in the land of possibility. You don't have to worry about probability, the probability of it being easier. Play in the land of possibility. What if it were easy? And the fifth point I want to make is to ask for help. Ask for divine intervention. And this is kind of where the spiritual meets the practical, because there are moments where you feel like you have done it all and it still feels like too much. You've tried everything and you're barely hanging on. This is the moment to ask for help from something bigger than you, from God, from Jesus, from the universe, from life, from the divine, from your angels, from your guides, your higher self. Ask for help. Last year, I was doing a spiritual healing program and I had a lot of anger coming up. And it was great that I finally had access to this anger, because that's something that I had suppressed. I had positive, thought my way through it. Anger was something that was not, I would get irritated, but I would never fully blew up. I never fully had these massive temper tantrums. Not that that is the goal, but it was good to just have this release, this bubbling out. But my kids were triggering me a lot, and they unfortunately were on the receiving end of a lot of just a lot of anger and outbursts. And I was like, this is not how I want to be showing up. So I reached out to the mentor, the guy that was running the program, and I said, this is what's happening. I love that this anger is coming out, but this is not how I want to show up as a parent. And he's like, okay, I'll ask them to dial it back a little bit. And I'm like, okay, sure, whatever, not really expecting much. When I picked up my kids from school that day, they were little freaking angels that night. It had been weeks that I'd been struggling this, weeks where I felt like I was banging my head against the wall. I may as well have been just talking to a wall rather than them. I was so frustrated and felt so disrespected and blah, 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 blah. They were freaking angels that night. They listened the first time. We had a relaxing evening. It was just playful. And I'm like, we had not had that in weeks. And then I was like, what kind of freaking puppet show am I in right now? Which I then post back to my mentor, because I'm like, what just happened? I asked for help and it was immediate. It was immediate. And I was like, how can this be? And the way he explained it to me was, essentially, when you're asking the divine for help, we often think we're asking outside of us. And part of that is true, but part of that is our higher souls asking for, or we're asking our higher selves, our souls, for help. So I was asking my higher self, but I was also communicating with the higher selves of each of my kids. And it's like our souls were having this conversation going, yeah, we don't like how this is playing out. We're going to dial it back. So do not underestimate the power of, I'll say, prayer or asking for divine help. I have seen this. I have replicated that since, not going through my mentor, just saying, life feels too hard. I need help. Can you dial it back a bit? And things start to shift. And this is one of those things where really, what do you have to lose by asking? You might not fully believe it, but what do you have to lose by asking? So if you're really struggling with things, ask for divine intervention and wait to see what happens, because anytime I have done it in a massive way where I felt like I was drowning, the relief comes pretty quickly. So this is one that can only serve you. It's not going to do any harm in any way if you try this. So before we wrap up, I just want to remind you that if you're exhausted and depleted, I absolutely see you. You are not failing. You are not weak. There is nothing wrong with you because you are feeling this way. You are on a soul journey as a single mom, and you are doing the job of 2 people, and it feels like the emotional exhaustion of dealing with 10 people. But you are not powerless. You can shift out of this by setting goals, by setting boundaries to protect your peace, by taking care of yourself and your nervous system, by contemplating the idea, the possibility that it could be easier, and by asking for divine support to help give you some of that relief, because you are always supported. If this episode landed for you, if there was a message in here that resonated with you, please send it to one of your single mama friends. This is all about helping each other rise up, and I'll say do better, but just be better and have that relief and get really back into our soul alignment as single moms. And if you want more support in creating a co-parenting relationship that doesn't drain you, definitely check out my Conscious Co-Parenting course. You'll find tools, scripts, mindset shifts that will really help you feel clear and empowered and calm no matter what your ex is doing. So definitely check that out. It's time to rewrite your own rules, to step into your power and live fearlessly. I'll see you next time.